Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Dialogue Box, where we dissent creatively. In Dialogue Box, we discuss issues pertaining to education and society at large. We meet with individuals who have empowered or who are the change leaders in their respective societies. Today, our guest in this session is Professor Riaz Ahmed, a management specialist based in Calicut, Kerala, South India. Professor Riaz is Deputy Director and Associate Professor at the Farook College in Kerala, a leading education institute which has paved the way to create several change leaders. Professor Riaz was awarded the Junior Research Fellowship by the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, New Delhi, Government of India. He has also served as senior managerial levels and cluster heads of leading industries, for example, Tata Chemicals Limited, Axis Bank, MCF Limited and Perry India Limited in Mumbai, Kanpur, Chennai, Bangalore and Kochi. Professor Riaz has also presented important papers in various national seminars on e-commerce, financial inclusion and also marketing management. In this discussion of Dialogue Box, we discuss with Professor Riaz the impact of Industrial Revolution 4.0 and especially the COVID-19 situation on management theory and practice and how it can lead humanity to a better light. Welcome Professor Riaz to the Dialogue Box from JaihoonTV, where we expect you will share some revolutionary thoughts and ideas with our esteemed audience.
I'm also really looking forward to talking to you. In fact, let me also thank you for providing this platform to interact with you.
Professor Riaz, we are all going through the COVID situation. Around 100 years ago, the boys and girls of the colleges around the world graduated to a situation where an epidemic was in complete force. We are facing a similar situation right now. The boys and girls of our colleges, schools, some are continuing their studies, many have graduated. We are all in a very skeptical situation. Where do you see the higher studies going in the wake of this pandemic that has really strangled us from all sides?
Mr. Jaihoon, in fact, a very relevant question you have asked. I have been into the teaching of higher education scenario. In fact, I teach management students. I teach MBA students for the last a decade. I look at this as an opportunity rather than a threat. Okay, because something like this happened 100 years back. In 1920, I've heard. Yeah, and I think that batch also has prevailed. That time has also gone, and that particular batch of students have also come up in life. Now, why I said that this is a positive, why I take this as an opportunity rather than a threat, is that I remember around 4 years back, 4 or 5 years back, I had been to a conference or a faculty development program at IIM Bangalore, okay, the Indian Institute of Management in Bangalore, where we were trained. There was a serious discussion and a workshop going on how can we make the Indian education into a blended education with offline and online, using the digital platforms, and how can we digitalize the Indian education. I still remember many of the professors were very pessimistic. Okay, they said that this is not going to happen in India. Okay, it's not practical in India. Basically, we don't have devices, we don't have the softwares, we don't have the technology. But what I see right now is, now this has compelled all of us to go digital. Now, I can take the example of my college alone. There were a lot of teachers who were not aware of all these platforms. Especially the kind of literature teachers, the kind of language teachers, and all. They were not very aware of this technology unlike the engineering teachers or the management teachers. What I see right now is all of them have shifted to the digital platforms. And I would say that this has accelerated the digitalization of Indian education, not only Indian education, I would say the education scenario in the entire world. And I would say post-COVID, education would never be the same. It's not going to be the same. And I would say that a lot of things will change. And I truly believe that the changes will be for good. I have at least done a dozen webinars, international webinars in the last 1 or 2 months, which I thought was not possible until 3 months ago. So all these things are happening. So I truly believe that things are going to change. And if you ask me how it is going to change, I'm not a fortune teller, okay? But I would say that things are going to change. See, we don't know what are the technologies that are going to come up. But I can say one thing: students are going to the LKG this year. Even they cannot imagine how will they learn or how would be the scenario of higher education when they get into the post-graduation or the graduation school. Even I did not think that this will happen when I did my MBA around 20 years back. We never thought that these things, we used to see all this video conferencing only in sci-fi movies, scientific fiction movies, or the Bollywood villains will come and do the video conferencing. Okay, but to their assistants, I'm taking classes for more than 300 students online. So these things are going to be changing the entire landscape of higher education, and I would say things are for good. But I think a lot of foreign universities like the Harvard University or the Stanford or the MIT, they already had the MOOC programs, which they call as massive online open courses, which were a blend of all these things, which actually was a blend of online and offline digital platforms. But I think now most of the Indian universities and the Asian universities across Asia have become more confident of conducting such programs with this new explosion of platforms like Zoom or Google Classrooms or Google Meet and different platforms. So what I really believe is this is all going to be for good. I always would like to take things in a very positive and optimistic angle.
Thank you, Professor. We always say that the education and technology are like hand in hand. We also claim that we are living in the Industrial Revolution 4.0. We have artificial intelligence, big data, Internet of Things, machine learning, cloud computing, etc. But tell me, Professor Riaz, are our students actually qualified? In the sense, are they ready emotionally and intellectually to face the life journey ahead with all these technologies around them?
That is the biggest miss that we will have during this, the online education or the digital platforms. The human touch is going to be the biggest miss. The best part of teaching, according to me, is a relationship between the faculty and the students. That the relationship actually can be built only in an offline mode. And another thing that you told about is emotional intelligence. I would say that is the biggest miss. The generation, I would say, you have mentioned about AI. Well, I would say in this era of AI, EI is going to be the differentiator, or the emotional intelligence is going to be the differentiator, because machines are going to take up everything. Now, your mathematical skills, your analytical skills, your engineering skills, even the skills of doctors are going to be taken up by machines. I think you're aware of the IBM Watson, Dr. Watson. It's a project of IBM, which is people say it's going to substitute the doctors for diagnosing diseases. But I would say nobody can substitute the emotional intelligence of a doctor to treat a patient. Nobody can substitute, or no machine can substitute the emotional intelligence of a teacher to understand the mood of the students and maybe crack a joke in the class and change the mood in the class. So so that definitely the EI part, the emotional intelligence part, will be the greatest miss in this digital era. And the students who are only learning through these online platforms and digital platforms, they will definitely have a deficiency in emotional intelligence. They will not know how to talk to people, how to understand the emotions of the people and behave accordingly. They are only friendly to screens. Okay, they only know to interact with screens. They will not know how to interact with human beings, or they will lack the emotional part of life. They will lack kindness. They will lack what do you call compassion. They will lack the good spirit, which is actually what is required from an educated person. So I totally agree to you.
Going further on artificial intelligence, Professor Riaz, you are a person who have been a decade and a half or probably more into the field of management, theory and practical levels. You have worked in several leading companies, banks, agricultural sector. You know the whole, the in and out of the management world. May I ask you, what would be the impact of artificial intelligence on the middle level management? Where will AI place in management practice? Are we going to see the elimination of middle level managers? What do you think is the impact of AI on management studies or management practice?
Well, I would say that already the impact has started. Okay, in fact, AI has already started substituting a lot of manpower. Okay, in fact, recently I've been attending a lot of workshops about data analytics or big data analytics in HR, big data analytics in marketing, kind of things. In fact, HR or human resource management is supposed to be an area where managers play a very important role in motivating people and managing people. Leave apart marketing or finance, most of the HR functions are being digitalized using AI. I would say the IoT and AI, Internet of Things and AI, okay, artificial intelligence, are taking up a lot of what do you call substituting a lot of functions which are being done by managers. There are robotics have taken up, especially I see a lot of my students coming in presenting about the warehouses of Alibaba, where there are no employees at all. You can see only robots. Okay, the robots do all the stacking and the warehousing thing, kind of thing. The entire thing, the economic order quantity is decided by the machines. The moving of different commodities are decided by the machines. If you look at the warehouses of Amazon, okay, you can just go and look at the warehouses of Amazon. You can see very little human intervention. You can see one or two operators who just operate the system. Otherwise, robotics, that is IoT and AI, okay, Internet of Things, robotics and AI are going to change the things, I would say, the way managers are working. In fact, as you said correctly, I would say the biggest impact would be in the frontline managers, with the frontline managers, okay, because the technical, you see, in management we say, from the front line to the top line, to the front line, they require a lot of technical knowledge. And when it comes to the top level management, it's all about strategic thinking and vision. And the middle level managers, they do a lot of planning kind of thing. So I think the first impact is going to be the frontline managers, because now technicalities can be easily be put into missions using AI. So I would say that the biggest threat, the first threat is going to be the frontline managers. And slowly, as I told you, the big data analytics and all are going to substitute even the HR managers, the middle level managers. If a manager is not well versed with the big data analytics or how to use the machines, I think he will not be in the business. He cannot survive in the business. So I think in the coming generations, I think students have to be aware, and that they have to be well versed with all these new technologies, especially data. I would say data analytics is going to be the key for all these things. I think somebody who doesn't know about data analytics will be an illiterate in another 5 years.
Do you feel this lockdown is perhaps Almighty's plan to test drive us to welcome a paperless and maybe a humanless era of lifestyle?
I truly believe that being spiritual and being religious are two different things. But when I think very spiritually, I truly believe that this is an intervention from God. I truly believe that, because we have not been very fair with the nature. We have not been very fair with our fellow creatures. We have not been very fair with our Creator. Naturally, I think this is an intervention from Him. See, you can see what is happening across the world. You look at you can look at the nature. Well, recently I came up with a video. I saw a video that of many cities. The pollution index of most of the cities have come down in the last 2-3 months. So maybe I think a lot of rivers are getting back to shape. A lot of forests are getting back to shape. I even came to know that if the the ozone layer is recovering. So all these things shows that this is an intervention from God. Look at what is happening in the US, the racial discrimination. We say we are all the so-called champions of human rights, the United States. See what's happening there. And not to say about what is happening in India, everybody is taking it for granted. They feel that the power that has been given to them, what I believe, which is an amanat, given to them, is being misused by them. And naturally, when you misuse something given to you, naturally there will be an intervention. You can see all these things happening. The death of Mr. George Floyd, all the events that happened after that, and what is happening in India, things happening in different parts of the world, all shows that people, even after getting all these signals, we have not realized. And I think if we don't realize it at least at this 11th hour, this is going to be the end of it, I would say. For the God, I think it's just a matter of saying kun fayakun, okay, and He says, okay, come on, you guys, get out of the place. I'm going to bring a new species onto the earth. It's better than you. It can happen. So I truly believe that, and I think I'm almost ready for that mentally.
Okay, Professor Riaz, it has been great speaking to you. We've gone from 1920s all the way to the future, so it's literally from back to the future, and I hope our viewers benefit from your thoughts. So thank you, Professor Riaz, for your valuable time.
Thank you, Mr. Mujeeb Jaihoon. In fact, it was very nice talking to you, and I've been a follower of yours in your social media. So keep writing and keep critiquing. In this era of digitalization, people like you who are required, people who speak from their heart are required, are highly required. People like you who speak about emotions are the need of the hour. Inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you. God help us all, and I hope we or our children can have a brighter future. Hopefully, inshallah.